In the early 17th century, the Puritan community was divided into two groups, separatist Puritans and non-separatist Puritans. Separatist Puritans saw themselves as different from the corrupt English society around them, and they fled to the New World in the early 1600s. Non-separatist Puritans remained in England because they believed that they could reform the church from the inside. In 1603, moderate Puritans in England hoped the new monarch, James I, would be sympathetic to their views. Although this did not prove to be the case, the Puritans still tried to work within the religious system while he was king. Then in 1629, James' son, King Charles I, dismissed Parliament and allowed William Laud, the anti-Puritan Archbishop of Canterbury, to tighten royal control over the church. He removed ministers with Puritan tendencies and threatened the church elders who harbored them. With increasing pressure from the crown, the non-separatist Puritans felt they could not remain in England and decided to migrate to the New World. A group of non-separatist Puritans secured a royal charter from King Charles I in 1629 to form the Massachusetts Bay Company. In 1630, nearly 1,000 settlers in 11 ships arrived on the rocky Massachusetts coast, becoming the largest group to immigrate to the New World at one time. In the decade that followed, between 16,000 and 20,000 settlers came to New England in a movement that came to be called the Great Migration. The Massachusetts colonists didn't face nearly as many hardships as the Jamestown and Plymouth settlers before them. The colonists made careful preparations for their venture and received a constant flow of new settlers, which replenished the colony's supplies and helped the colony grow. Since the soil in the Northeast was not favorable to farming, the Bay Company made the most of the forests and water resources by establishing mills for grain and lumber, developing the fishing industry, using the local timber for shipbuilding, and using the harbors to promote trade. The Bay Colony quickly became the largest and most influential of all the New England colonies, with the city of Boston as the capital. For several years, the Massachusetts Bay Charter was used as a constitution for the company. Governmental power in the Bay Company rested with the General Court or the shareholders, who then elected the governor and his assistants. The right to vote and hold office was limited to male church members called freemen.
That from henceforth forever there shall be one governor, one deputy governor, and 18 assistants of the same company, to be from time to time constituted, elected, and chosen out of the free men of the said company. The Charter of Massachusetts Bay, 1629.
Although not democratic in the modern sense, the system was considered a practical democracy based on the relationship between the clergymen and the freemen who voted. Before leaving England, the Massachusetts Bay Colony elected their first governor, John Winthrop, who served for over a decade. Winthrop believed that their venture was divinely inspired. During the trip to the New World, Winthrop gave a sermon called A Model of Christian Charity, during which he outlined God's purpose for the Bay Colony. Winthrop believed that he had been called by God to lead the religious experiment.
The eyes of all people are upon us, so that if we shall deal falsely with our God in this work we have undertaken, and so cause him to withdraw his present help from us, we shall be made a story and byword throughout the world. We shall open the mouths of enemies to speak evil of the ways of God and all believers for God's sake. We shall shame the faces of many of God's worthy servants and cause their prayers to be turned into curses upon us until we are consumed out of the good land to which we are going. John Winthrop, 1630.
His goal was to build a holy society that would be a model for all humankind. We shall be a city set on a hill, Winthrop said of Boston, where the church was the center of life. He described a harmonious Christian community whose laws and government would logically proceed from a godly and purposeful arrangement. These common convictions did much to shape the Bay Colony community in its early years of existence.